So what are some of the biggest mistakes that people make when they're trying to do their SEO or trying to start out in content?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to what we were just talking about, which is that people get very focused on keywords, right? And because they're coming from sort of like a link, like a line of thinking and not necessarily a content line of thinking, they are taking a search term that they think is a money keyword and they want to write their content around that when it's not necessarily the best keyword to base your content around. And that's going to go back to really search intent, right? So this is one of the things that is just really hot in SEO right now because I think content marketers are learning that it's not just about finding like looking at the data analytics. You really need to look at your audience and what they're looking for. And by search intent, I mean that's really just the why behind somebody punching a keyword into a Google search. And as a content marketer, your job is to make sure that you're addressing that why. So maybe you want to rank for a search term about buying. Give me a
basketballs.
Buying basketballs, right? And you want to rank for buying basketballs because that search term, if you rank well for that, it's going to bring money to your site. But you're going to have to make sure that your content around buying basketballs is really matching up with why the person is making that search. Are they making that search because they're ready to buy basketballs? Your content's got to be based around what that keyword actually means rather than just sort of stuffing something in there that you want to rank for even though it's irrelevant to what they're looking for.
Yeah, that's super important now. So to kind of bring it back for somebody that's never heard of search intent before, it's just like a lot of times when you search in Google, what actually comes up is different than the type of content you have on your site. So the easiest thing to do is literally take a keyword that you want to rank for, put it into Google, and see what comes up. And oftentimes what comes up is not what you thought. It's actually content. It's actually like articles, guides, things like that. So if you want to rank, you want the traffic for that keyword, then you got to write content. And that's why probably we see a lot of our customers get success because they write content, from Blogger.
Yeah, and I mean, just like a side note, in doing this for the past 3 years, because that's one of the strategies that we use when we try and figure out the right keywords to use for our clients. And it's just been incredible to see how much more content is ranking in Google than it had. Like, it's been over the past few years, it was always home pages, product pages, service pages. But I challenge anybody to do a Google search now for a key term that they want to rank for, and I can almost guarantee that you're going to see some content on that first page, and that's new and that's very exciting for people like us.
Yeah. What would you say to people that just start thinking like, oh man, I don't even need a blog?
Oh, well, first of all, you're wrong. I mean, blogs are probably, in my opinion, the foundation for your SEO. They're the foundation for your site because Google wants to send its users to the best possible answers to their questions, and that is what blogs are designed to do.
So, but how do blogs produce ROI? How are you actually going to get leads and sales from writing a piece of content? Most people, you have a product page, you want people to land on that, you want people to buy. So how is blogging or producing other types of content, how's that actually going to drive sales?
Well, let me break it down for you, Clayton.
All right.
So when somebody wants to buy something, right, they most of the time are going to go through a sales funnel, right?
Okay.
And so what they're going to do is when they first have an idea of something they want to purchase, be it a service or a product, they're going to want to learn more about it. They're going to have a problem that they're trying to solve. And so what they're going to start with is a Google search where they're researching what to do about their problem. And that's when your blog comes in. If all you do is have your product pages and your service pages, they're already going to the other guy who has that blog set up that's already helped them with their questions. And hopefully that person is linking to their product or service pages within that blog. But they're keeping them engaged, they're building that trust, they're building that authority. They're not going to come to you just out of nowhere. You want to be able to really establish that relationship first as somebody they can trust to buy from. And that's what your blog is for. Yeah,
I like that a lot. I think a lot of times, if I'm searching for like a service or I need something, and it's actually something important to me, if I land on a site that just has a sales page, I'm not ready to buy it.
No.
And then I, browse around their site, and then if they're answering the questions that I have, I feel like they're an authority. Like I trust them so much more because they know what I'm going through, right?
Yeah.
And that's a really great way, I think, that people can start thinking about, oh, I don't need a blog. Well, basically, it's not about a blog, it's about answering their questions, right?
It's about your audience.
Yeah. If you understand your audience, you're on the phone every day, trying to sell things to them. They have all these questions. So instead of just saying it every time, write it down. Write down your answers. Write down the answers to your questions. Put that on your website, and people are going to be able to convert from that. That's where you're going to get the ROI, the leads, and the sales, right?
And then you don't have to have a bunch of people on the phone making outbound calls all day.
Yeah. I love it. People are converting automatically.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
Warm leads. Ooh.
So a big question that we get a lot of people think about is like, how much blog content should I create? What's my cadence? Is it like 1 post or 10 posts? I mean, you see Neil Patel putting out 5,000 posts. What's your recommendation for how much content how should they think about that?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I'm actually going to say the more content, the better, right?
Yep.
But I understand that not everybody can post 5,000
times a day,
times a day, like Neil Patel.
Yeah.
So I would say the bare minimum is going to be 2 times a week. And when I say that, that's really the bare minimum. Yeah. We've seen HubSpot studies. I think this is very easily Googleable for anybody. Google HubSpot's like traffic study with content. There's 16 blog posts a month. And that's really the threshold where you see a difference, right? Anything under that, you might as well be not blogging that much at all.
Sometimes that's not realistic for people, though. How they're thinking like, man, can I get 2 pieces per week? What am I even going to write about?
Yeah.
What would you say to those people?
I would say there's a ton of services out there that will create those blogs for you. And I would say for those pieces of content too, that's going to be like it doesn't necessarily have to be like a 2,000 word like banger post. Those pieces of content, they could be 1,000 words, they could be 1,500. They can be evergreen. They can also be of the moment, things that are happening in your industry.
Yep.
Because those are really how Google wants to see that you're relevant, right?
Yep.
And one of the ways that you show that is by blogging consistently.
Yeah.
Because you're going to say that you are an authority in this field, you know what's going on, you are able to address the needs of your customers on a consistent basis. But a blog that's dead is it's
that could be even worse, right? That could be even worse if people come to your website and they see that you don't have any information or it hasn't been updated in a really long time. They might think you're not real now. You're not in business anymore.
I mean, if you've ever gone to a website that hasn't been updated in a while, even going into a brick and mortar store and seeing that they haven't changed their inventory in forever, you're going to stick around and see what's there? No, you already know. You're going to go. So a blog is sort of a similar idea.
Yeah, so the more content, the better. Essentially, it's like the more content you have, the more chances you have to rank.
Yeah, and I would say that on top of that, and this is outside of those 16 blog posts a month, is you're going to also want to focus on that long form, really cornerstone informative content. Yep. And that's going to be, I think, and that we're going to see more and more that sites that have those 2,000, 4,000, 5,000 plus articles are going to be the ones that are really ranking in the search. Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit. People ask a lot, like, how long should the blog post be? Should I do quality or quantity? All this type of stuff. Let's talk about, so there's been some kind of changes in Google over the last few years. Yeah. More recently, we've had the Emetic update come out. Yeah. You want to talk a little about what's changing with that? Yeah, and I want to say one thing first, because I think it's sort of a weird, I don't know why we have to pick between quality and quantity, right? Why
I agree,
these things mutually exclusive? Yep. Like, why can't a long blog post it should be the best post on your site. You shouldn't have to pick between, that's where you're really pouring your research is. So I would say quantity and quality. Yeah. Why not both? And so
I like that a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Well, so that also ties into the Emetic update, right? Yeah. Which, and I'm sure you're going to have some things to say there too.
If people don't know what the Emetic update is, let's explain that a little bit.
And you can feel free to jump in. So as far as end of last summer, it was like summer of 2018. Yeah,
there's been some rolling updates, so let's just talk about it in general.
Sure. So basically there was this core algorithm update. Mm-hmm. And it was perceived to have mostly affected sites about health and wellness and well-being, which is why it's been coined the Emetic update. Mm-hmm. And what people were really seeing is that content that didn't necessarily have sort of a really authoritative, expert, trustworthy sort of vibe was getting punished or sort of seeing some significant drops, right, in traffic. And I think people really latched on to this Emetic thing too, because it would seem that one of the first sort of kinds of sites that Google would penalize for this would be sites that would be about health, that would really have a real impact on somebody's wellness.
Yeah.
But my takeaway from all of this is that what Google is really saying is that quality, comprehensive, authoritative content is becoming more and more important. And whether you have a medical site or a wellness site, this is the way the industry is moving, and this is the way it's focused, because they're trying to send their users to the best possible answers to their questions.
Yeah, so people talk about, like, you should have quality content, but it's really bland and boring. It doesn't really say what is quality content. How can we give some actionable tips that's going to define, like, what actually is quality? Like, what if you look at a piece of writing, how would you say you could improve it?
Yeah, I mean, so I will say that I always say, and this is going to sound maybe lofty, but I think as SEOs and marketers, competition is good and we should have lofty goals. I define quality content as doing whatever you're doing better than everybody else, right? Because that's how you're going to rank. That's how you're going to get to the top of the SERPs with that content. What people can do right now to help their content rank better than their competitors, and I think we've touched on this a bunch, is listen to your audience. So you've talked about this. I know this is something we actually do at the HOTH, is really listen to your clients. You know, do a little R&D. What questions are they asking? What are they looking for? You are on the front lines if you're a business owner of that every day. And so you're going to want to take what your audience is asking you, what they're asking sales, what they're asking support, and you're going to want to blog about it. And that's really, that's an easy one, right?
So I like that. Number one is listen to the audience and make sure that you're covering that topic. Okay.
Make sure that you're covering that topic.
So let's say you picked out a topic or you have a piece on your site. How are we going to improve that? What kind of qualities do we need to see?
I would say that number one, you want to make sure that you are providing a very comprehensive answer.
That's big.
And then
making it comprehensive. I think for Emetic update or any kind of big core update, what Google's looking for that quality is really comprehensive. And comprehensive translated into English means
long form. We want to be citing data from different authorities. We want to show that we're doing our research. We want to be linking back to parts of our sites that are also relevant. We want to make sure that we're showing that we know what we're talking about and that we are a trusted source. I mean, back in the day, you could, kind of write a blog post about anything, throw it on your blog, and it would be fine. Well, times have changed. So you really want to show that you care about the content you're producing, because that shows Google that you're caring about your audience, and thus you're giving them good answers, and you'll be rewarded for that.
Yeah, so you're optimizing for both SEO and also for the user.
To me, they go hand in hand these days. Nobody, if any SEO sort of tells you that, like, they understand every algorithm or they know exactly how they're the trick to working with Google is to truly work with them, and that's to meet the needs of their business, which is, and I say this all the time, send their users to the best possible answers. And if you're doing that, you're giving Google what they want, and you're going to be ahead of the game. They've got you're going to be golden.
Yeah, and I think one of the best ways to do that is literally, Google shows you what it wants. All you have to do is go look at what's ranking number one, and you can see, what Google likes. You can see the type of content, how long it is, and if you write something similar to that, that's a really great starting point. What you want to do is like match and exceed. You go find out what's ranking and then do something better, right?
That was going to be my number 3. Is just look at your competition, right? See what they're doing, see how long their posts are, see what they're writing about, and then just do it a little better.
Cool. I like that a lot. You can see like the last few years, things have changed. People have shifted from just links to now they're opening up to the blogs. And the thing is, you can use blogs on not just for SEO. It's content. You can use it for lots of other things.
Yeah.